Hello and welcome to the Indian Community Podcast. I'm your host Rahul Mehra with my co-host Amit Gupta. Today we bring you the face actually that defined an era. He was every Indian kid's mirror, every parent's memory, and every teacher's delight. He gave life to Swami in Malgudi Days, a performance so pure that even R.K. Narayan said, "You are exactly what I imagined Swami to be." He playing young Amitabh Bachchan in Agnipath, shared the screen with Mammootty sir, and then quietly stepped away. Where did he go? What does he do now? And does Swami still live in his heart? Let's find out with the unforgettable Master Manjunath Nayaker.
Namaskar.
Welcome to the show, Manjunath.
At the outset, thank you so much for
Namaskar.
having me on this show. And it's really nice to meet you both. And I think through you, all your listeners and video audience who are going to see this podcast, uh, thank you so much for having me on the show.
Would you
Thank
like
you so
to?
much. I think it is the other way around, right? Our listeners, our audiences, maybe a drop in the ocean of the audience that you created. Every human in India, uh, you know, uh, was was watching you as Swami, living their lives, imagining themselves to be Swami. So I think it is our privilege to have you on the show,
No,
sir.
no, no. It is the honor is mine, the privilege is mine, and as I was talking to you earlier, it is really. I mean, the one word that I can say is that I was blessed to have got this character, and I think it was destiny that kind of propped me up appropriately. Like literally, I was like all the things that happened to me prior to playing this role made sure I was prepped up properly to
Mhm.
play a role of a lifetime. As I was telling you earlier, I had done about 23 movies before this in Kannada. I started acting at the age of 3, and my family doesn't come from a cinema background in the sense that both my mom and dad worked in Bharat Heavy Electricals
Mhm.
Limited. Very, very low profile, non film, non art family, and I apparently used to talk dime a dozen, uh, and even at the age of 3. And my mom's colleague, my mom's and dad's colleague, who was a part-time production manager, I think he goofed up trying to cast a small kid in one of those Kannada movies. And I was
Mhm.
there at the factory, and they just said, "Okay, okay, I'm just gonna borrow your
Okay.
kid for like a day, and he'll just do a small role." And so that's how my entry into cinema happened, and one role led to three, three led to 10, 10 led to 23, and then Swami happened. But even before that, I again was really so blessed that I got to act with some of the topmost actors at that time and topmost directors of Kannada film industry. And one of them, of course, happened to be Shankar Nag sir, who himself was an extraordinarily versatile actor and a director. And
Mhm.
I acted under his direction for the first time in a movie called Hosatirpu. And subsequent to that, I did fairly 2, 3 movies in his home production, which is Nodi Swami Navarde Hige, Nagabekamba Nagabeku, and a whole lot of other Kannada movies. And as destiny, as I said, it was like I was destined to kind of play that. Mine and Shankar Nag sir's, the chemistry, the kind of comfort that we both felt was so good that like I could understand most of the things that he wanted me to perform without him having to explain it to me too much into detail. And he was such a large-hearted person. He was so brilliant that he could not only explain, he could come down to my wavelength and take the extra effort of explaining things to me. See, in those days, you can imagine for a big shot director or a big actor, they don't really need to explain for a small child actor. They just have to say, okay, you just do this, do what I'm telling you. I mean, and I probably would have done it. But there are times when, of course, I went beyond what was expected, and I would say, why would this character do this? Why would why would this kid behave this way? So he would not just brush me off. He would say, let me explain to you, this is the context,
Mm-hmm.
this is how he's grown up, and this is the challenges that he's faced, and that is why he would react the way he
Mm-hmm.
would react. So this, the kind of comfort and the confidence that I got, that he's not only treating me as a an actor, a human being, and he cares enough to explain. This, of course, would make anybody, more so a small kid,
Mm-hmm.
to step up, saying, okay, this is the kind of trust he is placing in me. I have to perform better. I have to do better. So it all kind of, came together. And when I was cast as Swami, or they were planning to cast Swami, apparently, I got to know much later that there was a lot of hesitation from the other team members and the crew, saying that, look, Manju doesn't know Hindi, he doesn't know English. How are you going to get him to
Mm-hmm.
play this,
Mm.
like a lead role of a major series in Doordarshan? And as you all know, there's only one channel, and
Correct.
Doordarshan had television series going on, which is Ye Jo Hai Zindagi,
Correct.
Bunyad, Nukkad, Tamas, which I'm like a crazy fan of. And
Right.
they were also concerned, saying, "Ye South ke,
Mm.
as we Madrasis, as we were all generally generalized, will we be able to pull off such a huge thing at that stage?" And I mean it in a nice way. I'm not trying to be racially this one. It was accepted at a
Of course.
face
No,
value,
no, that's fine.
right? So we were like at an extra this one, that we not only have to perform, but it has to be really at a different quality, or a national standard as such. So there was a lot of pressure, and Mr. Shankar Nag apparently was very insistent, saying, no, it doesn't matter. He will pick it up. I have confidence in him. It doesn't matter that he doesn't know Hindi or English. I believe that he can do it. And I had no clue all this was happening behind the scene. For me, it was like, Shankar uncle, he's called me to do a role. I don't know what role. I don't know where we are shooting. I don't know what we are doing. It's him. When he says do something, we'll do it. That's all. That is as simple as that in life. So here we are in a village, middle of nowhere, beautiful village, Agumbe. For those of you who want to visit Malgudi, it is Agumbe. It is very close to Manipal. It's about 48 kilometers from Manipal. It's one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it is, again, as destiny would have it, it is meant to be Malgudi. Like, for me, for anybody, if you say Malgudi, Agumbe was tailor made for that. So we literally took over this small village, which houses about 180 odd houses, and we changed each and every board in Agumbe to Malgudi, so much so that the local
Mm-hmm.
buses that would ply, they started calling Malgudi, Malgudi, Malgudi when the stop came, because there's no boards anywhere called, naming Agumbe. And this, again, for people, for today's generation, keep in mind, there's no mobile phones, there are no uh,
Yeah.
there are no digital equipments or digital items present in that world. This is 86 when we are shooting, and this village has everything in one digit. There is one small hotel, one provision store, one guest house. Everything is in single digits, right? There's nothing you can get. If you had to do, you have to go about 25 kilometers away to get anything. So we were literally in Malgudi, right? In all sense. And all the cast and crew, we didn't have enough hotels or nothing like that. So we had hired rooms from the localites. So each house had one room which was rented out to us. Again, a side note, that Swami's house is a combination of three different houses. That is Swami's house. But Manjunath's house, where I rented and I was in a room, it is still there. I still, whenever I pass by, I go meet the family. I say hi to them. I see my room and hall, wherever I slept during while shooting. I still have such fond memories and fond relationship there, that I've told them that any time in your future, if you ever sell that house, that's mine. I'm gonna buy that. There's no way that's gonna go anywhere else, right? So such, like, as I said, there's no other way to explain it. It's a once in a lifetime experience. So and of course, like, it was all for Mr. Shankar Nag. I really did not know who was RK Narayan sir. I had no idea I mean, I knew Doordarshan, but then I didn't know the significance or the kind of the how do I say, the largeness of the project, or you know all the, I could have probably become overwhelmed if I had known, but luckily I had no clue. So we took one day at a time, and as you can see, all that effort, all that worry, all that was very sincere. And of course, what a star cast in that. You have Girish Karnad sir playing my dad. You had Vaishali Kasarvalli ma'am, who was playing my mom. There was a Marathi actress. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. She played my dadi, and like, who's who again? You know, all veterans, all like super talented guys. So it was a blast. And again, before I forget, uh, if you see the fear in Swami's eyes for his dad, it was very, very genuine. That was Girish Karnad's aura, that once he got into character and he would say, Kya? And then you're really shitting bricks. I'm like half remembering my dialogues and half I'm like, is he going to whack me one on my face? That's how the. So most of the fear you see of Swami's eyes for his dad, it's 90% genuine. And it is amazing to see him just after the shot. He would become so normal. He was like very funny. He would be talking to us nicely. He's a big sweetheart. And I again had a lot of comfort with him because I had already done a movie called Utsav, where I play a very small role. I play Charudatta's son in that. So he was the
Mhm.
director in that. So I had the pleasure of working under him before that. So therefore, my comfort with him was so high, because there, you had Rekha, Shekhar Suman, Shashi Kapoor, all the who's who of the film industry. With them, but for me, it was Girish Karnad uncle. So there is this. If you go on the internet, there is this one picture of me on his lap and all that. So I was very, very comfortable with him. But then when he was playing Swami's dad, it was scary. That's how brilliant an actor he was. Sorry, I think I'm going on rambling now, but a lot of all these memories are just flooding through my brain, and I'm
Uh,
just like putting it all out on you guys.
we can see that. We can see the Swami come to life, right? So you're actually going back into time. So we're enjoying it. Just, since it
Yes,
is
yes, yes,
Suhasini
yes,
Adarkar who played
yes.
your grandmother. So I guess Suhasini
And
Adarkar who played your
and you had
grandmother.
told me,
I think,
Amit,
like
sorry,
you
before I
said,
forget,
right?
you had told me, tell me
Malgudi
something
Days.
which nobody knows, right?
Go ahead.
So Suhasini ma'am is not that old.
Hmm,
She was much younger, and she had a full thick lock of hair,
correct.
which we had covered under a special this one and made her a bald nani. So again, most people don't know this. When she did that, she was
Right.
much younger. So when she would remove the bald cap and would be walking around, we almost wouldn't recognize her. It was that funny. So sorry, I had to interrupt you because I before I forget, I wanted to
Correct.
let everybody know that is how, that's the beauty, that's the magic of cinema for you.
No, no, definitely, definitely.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's a good fun fact to know. And I think it's almost going to be 40 years next year, right? So
Yes.
86 is when Malgudi Days was released. And I was about 4 or 5 year old. Rahul, you
10,
must be
10 or 11.
a little older. You and Manju are the same. Yeah, you are of the same age group, right? So this question is actually to Rahul. So Rahul, when you were watching Swami on screen, who was pretty much your age, you would be in the same wavelength. What
Mhm.
was your reaction?
Actually, when I watched Swami on screen, because it would have been recorded a little earlier, I was a little older at that time. When you
Okay,
watch Swami, but it was very relatable. Um, you know, uh, there was a school that you used to go to
Yes.
in Malgudi, right? And a schoolmate, and there were
Yes.
foreigners also in the area, right? Foreigners also in the area. So I remember, that yeah, the foreigners and everything. So my first thing was that. because we had seen movies of foreigners earlier, right? I mean, independence type movies, Swatantrata Sangram and whatnot. So there was a little bit of, things like, what is this era? When is this time? Is it too old? And then, those that board Malgudi, and then a station used to come, Malgudi, right? A Malgudi station used to come. And I'll tell you one thing, my college was in a place called Rane Benur. It is near Davangere, right, in Karnataka. So when we first landed in the college, it was 1992, July, and I saw the same thing, same old railway station, and same type of banner saying Rane Benur. Everybody said, "ये तो
uh,
मालगुडी में आ गए."
so incidentally, this actual
so, so
actual
that
station
is my
is
kind of.
Arasalu. It is very close to a place called Rippanpete. So it's very close to a place called Rippanpete, and
Okay.
the station name is Arasalu. It comes very. You have to go to Shimoga and you can find out. And incidentally, again, I don't know whether you both know, and for all your audience,
Okay.
they have renamed the station, the old station, to Malgudi Museum. So Southern Railway spent money and they have converted the old station into Malgudi Museum.
Okay.
And I was so happy and privileged that Arun Yogiraj, who sculpted our Ram Lalla, he had sculpted Swami and his friends in a wooden this one. So there is a statue of Swami and his
Mhm.
friends at this museum,
Wow.
which luckily since we played, it looks like us, and and I'm so happy when people of every era go take pictures with Swami, the wooden Swami, and tag me on Insta on that. So it's like a blast. I'm so happy to know that they, or rather, such a thing is created for Malgudi.
True, true.
So I just googled and I'm looking at the statue just now. Amazing. I mean, like I said, it is unforgettable. It is etched in memory, and this is now going to be there forever. And you know what is the fun part is Malgudi Days was not like 400, 500, thousands of episodes, right?
Yes.
Handful of
out of
39
which
episodes, and
out of which
you
only
know
eight
the
episodes is
stories are
Swami
so
and his friends.
powerful.
Out of which only 8 episodes is
Go ahead.
Swami and his friends.
Exactly. So correct. So and that story is so powerful. The performance is so powerful, right? You cannot. I mean, even if you watch those eight
It's
episodes, you
all,
feel like you've
it's all.
lived that lifetime, right? And you go back in time, you come forward, and you cannot forget it. It is, you know, that the magic, the potion, right? You all the ingredients were so perfect, right? You cannot forget once you see Swami, right?
In Malgudi days, that one voice
Yeah,
used to
yeah, yeah.
come after the
Yes,
intro music, Swami, right?
absolutely,
That is what
absolutely,
remains in your head.
absolutely.
That is what remains in
A
your head.
girl called Neha.
Whose voice was that?
She went on to work in ad agencies and all. Neha contractor, and she went on to
Hmm.
act with me in another serial called Stone Boy. Subsequently, that was her voice. She was very teeny
Okay.
tiny girl, and she had absolutely no clue. Yeah, she had
Ah,
absolutely
that
no clue what an
Mauritius.
iconic thing she
Yeah.
created. But it is one of those things. They just called her to the thing and say, "Just scream, Swami!" And she just screamed. So it is like it's just
Oh my God. No, no, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
So, you you mentioned the Swami's house and you know how much of a fond memory you have of the house. I wonder if at some point you know that also becomes a
I'm
Malgudi or a Swami museum, right? I
I
wonder if that
really
is something
doubt
that.
it because it's a private house, but that family has done its best to
Mhm.
maintain the props and the not the props actually what they were using in those days, but those things that we used, they have tried their best to retain it. So,
Mhm.
incidentally, just as a matter of fact, Swami's house is a combination of three houses. Okay, so a major chunk of it is shot in one house, which is little
Correct.
bit further away from Agumbe, and all the the front part of it, the angan, the inner where Swami plays with his brother subsequently, or Girish Karnad's office room. All these were in one house. The attic, which Swami is with his
Hmm.
grandmom, and all the other stuff that happens, is in another house, and another exterior is a complete another house. But the one that has majority of Swami's house, those people, they have somehow, like, I also had lost touch with them, and I went there maybe after 15, 16 years, because this is a little bit further away from Agumbe, and I went in search of them and I spoke to them. It was such an amazing scene that I saw, that I went in. I said, "Do you remember me?" He said, like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So the kid who was a youngster at that time when I played Swami is now an older man. He has a kid who is now she's in her teen years, and not teen year. I think she had just finished
Hmm.
college and she's in the college. She's working somewhere, and I go up this staircase where Girish Karnad sir's or the Swami's dad's office room is there. Pretty much everything is the same, but where Girish Karnad sat, she's sitting and she has a laptop open. She has all these things happening there. It's surreal. Okay, I'm going up. I'm like, what? It's like it's the same place where Swami, gets Rajam to sit, or he has all those old things there. There's a laptop. There is printer. There's other things, but the rest of the background is the older this one only. I said, yeah, yeah, we wanted to kind of surprise you, but look how it's kind of grown. But they have done their best, all the
Nice.
three houses. So the props Swami used, his especially his study table, that is there as it is, and you can go to my Facebook page and you can look. I've gone there, I've sat there and kind of
Right.
fiddled around with it. And
Wow.
a few of the desk, the ink pot, a few of those things they have
Right.
somehow tried to maintain. But I'm really not sure. I think this is the last
Hmm.
generation. I think post that girl, I don't think does anybody will maintain that anymore. But I have told them, I have requested them on behalf of all Malgudi fans that, look, you should do something like retain one portion of the house as it is, maybe charge a fee for people to come and have a look and go out, but don't please demolish this bit of it. And if you want, like, I'll help you out with setting up the whole, like, a Malgudi Swami's house
Correct.
walk tour or something like that. But you have no idea how much people love that bit of it. I'm really not sure.
Correct.
I've convinced them. I think they'll hold off on this for another 10 years at least. But I don't think. I'm not sure whether what will happen after that.
Mm. No, that's brilliant. No, absolutely. I think now we live in the world of experiences these days, right? Airbnb started recently something called Airbnb experiences. So maybe hopefully that might be something that
Absolutely.
I'm just leaving it out. Fingers crossed, anything is possible. So Swami or Manjunath, let me put this. So I was showing, like I said to you earlier today, my son, he's 7, and I was showing him, the Swami and Friends episode, and I could see one very mischievous smile on his face, right? Because Swami and his friends were very naughty. So on the set, were you guys also naughty? Were you guys getting into trouble for your mischief, or you were
uh,
serious
at
and
least the main characters,
good
we
actors?
really did not have the luxury to do anything else, in the sense that we had this thing that it is Hindi first, so we had to learn. Mani knew Hindi. He was born and brought up in Bombay, even though a Kannada boy, but he
Mhm.
was born and brought
Okay.
up in Bombay, so he kind of knew Hindi. Me and Rajam, zero, right? So for us, that first priority was, oh my God, let us get our lines right, right? And Swami, even worse, because out of I think
Mm.
126 scenes, I was there in 120, right? So I'm forever there. So it is almost impossible for me to kind of go here and there. So in fact, my biggest complaint to Shankar uncle was, all the time I'm working and they are playing there, in somewhere in my line of sight they would be playing. So much so, one day I was really, really mad, and I was tired. I was,
Okay.
kind of cranky, and I was like, so one day I told Shankar uncle, I said, look, I just need, like, a couple of hours of break. I just need to, like, I can't, like, I had done like 20, 25 days of continuous shoot. And I'm like, I just need a break. He suddenly realized that we are not full-fledged professional adults who are doing a mainstream thing, and we are kids. He was so like, he was shocked. He said, "I'm so sorry, I forgot you're a kid. I've been like putting you at, or I'm holding you to the same responsibility or level which I would hold anybody, any other actor of my age." And I'm saying, no, 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 it's not like I'm complaining, I just need a break. He just stops shooting, packs
Mhm.
us all up, puts us in a van, and we all go to this Manipal beautiful resort near the sea. We play the entire day. I get all my frustration out there, and I play, and we're just having fun. No dialogue learning, nothing. And the crew are like shocked, like what is happening. Shankar Nag sir is not like that. He said, "You guys are crazy. They're 10-year-olds. They are 9-year-olds. Like I am feeling tired after 25 days, and you're expecting them to keep maintaining the same thing." Like, no, 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 no. We're just off. And that did a world of good. So the next day, our productivity went up. Like, we are doing like scenes like there is no, there's no tomorrow. Like, you felt good that they responded. I mean, today we can talk about our kids and is it right to make them work so hard, all that you put it aside. We were like one big family, so we were like one big team. Like everybody knew what we were doing. And the beauty of Shankar Nag's team was, Shankar Nag uncle's team was, nobody had a fixed role. Like traditionally you will have like only this much, they will, associate director will only do this, the set director will do only this, and something. Whereas the rest of the team in this, nobody would ask, is it my role or not? If you can Google Somu, he unfortunately passed away in an accident, road accident, long
Mhm.
back.
Yes.
Other than that, so
Yep.
Swami's two friends, Rajam and Mani,
Oh,
Right.
we are still
oh.
friends. We are
Correct.
still good. I can't say close friends, but we have kept in touch
Mhm.
over the years, and we do catch up, at least on the WhatsApp, or
Mhm.
calls or some functions where at least me and Rajam is still here in Bangalore. Mani is in Canada, so only when he comes to India, we make sure we catch up.
Mm.
But a lot of calls
Correct.
on the WhatsApp group and stuff like that. But definitely, I mean, uh, like we. No, nothing
And
like
what is
Swami
your
and his friends.
WhatsApp group called?
That'll make them mad. That'll make them mad. So it's just like I don't even remember what we have named. I think Malgudi team or something, like something we have named. Yeah. So we have a bunch of them on that,
Malgudi.
and we do keep in touch. Unfortunately, a lot of actors, lot of crew, technicians, everybody's passed away. So it's kind of it's a weird. How do I say? It's
Mm.
it's very surreal sometimes that I'm all of 49, 50, and when you talk in like, oh, in those days, and the cameraman is no more, the producer is no more, Girish Karnad sir is no more, Shankar Nag, unfortunately we lost him way too young, and the mother is, Vaishali ma'am, also passed away. So it's like very
Mhm.
very, I don't know how to describe it. I can't really find words. At the same time, whoever is remaining, all the crew cast, we are like hardly maybe 6, 7 of us. We still try our best to kind of keep in touch, talk as much as possible, and
Mhm.
it's very difficult to kind of address the issue that majority of us are not there. It's like we are like very few of us left, and it's very difficult to,
Right.
how do I say, one of the top top things in our discussion, or in our this one is, boss, for by God's grace, our legacy is set. Like forever, I'll be remembered as Swami of Malgudi. I really don't have to worry about what will they remember me by, right? That part is there. So the biggest worry for me is always
Right.
not to mess it up, not to do something stupid or
Mm.
say something, or be in a situation to mess that legacy
Right.
up. Otherwise we are fairly set, most of us. So wherever you go, like I've seen you somewhere. I think I've seen you somewhere. Like, okay, Swami Malgudi. that opens the doors. And I think I've kind of lived off that name quite a bit. So the
Correct.
topmost thing in my not to do list is don't mess up, don't do something stupid to mess that brand or the name up.
No,
So there is,
absolutely. You got a reputation to hold, and like you said, all those human, the cast, has passed. There's a lot of people who have passed away, but I think at the end of the day, the stories that you guys created, they are immortal,
Absolutely.
right? Of course, the original story itself is
RK Narayan
immortal,
sir, yeah.
by R.K. Lakshman sir, and then R.K. Narayan sir, and then
They were all RK
R.K.
Lakshman sirs.
Narayan. I think the drawings that they show during the that that's right, and both brothers, right? So sometimes you get mixed up with their names, but then the way your episodes were shot and the way the stories were
Absolutely,
narrated,
absolutely.
uh, that has put like the cherry on the cake, right? It that whole combination became immortal, and anybody who's looking at it now also
True.
can relate with what was India 100 years ago, right? So for my kids who have not lived in India, and when they look at that and they're like, okay, you know, this is what India was, and they're able to appreciate where they come from, right? So it is important for everybody to at least watch Malgudi Days once in their lifetime and experience India like something that
True.
they've never seen, because
And
no other
and just
cinema
see,
shows India
yeah,
like
sorry,
that.
sorry, go for it. Ra.
there is. No, no, that's okay. Actually, I wanted to move ahead, and I also remember a young boy who had burnt a petrol pump, and his own hand also, right? So that is also something which remains in our minds, and it doesn't fade away.
Yeah.
So so
Oh,
when you played the young Amitabh Bachchan in Agnipath, what
yes,
was the
I
experience
did.
like?
But this
And
is a
did you
super
get to meet
quick
Mr. Amitabh
backstory
Bachchan
to it.
himself?
So, of course, I got cast, or I was my existence was made aware only through Malgudi
Okay.
Days and Swami, and Swami was, of course, doing big, and I had won the international award. I had won the national award. Again, most of you might not know, Swami was originally shot as a movie, and then later edited into an 8 episode. So the all the accolades that it got
Mhm,
for the best movie across the globe, it in fact
Mhm.
mhm,
got a lot of awards in film festivals across the world. It got
Mhm.
for the Swami the movie, which got telecasted on Doordarshan, and unfortunately till date they have never re-telecasted it. I've been trying my best to talk to Doordarshan as well as the producer to say, boss,
Oh,
high time, at least in the 40th year, please bring that back, because most of them think it's just a CV series. There is a separate movie that was shot, a 2.5 hour movie which was
mhm,
shot for India. Of course, it didn't. I think the producer was not that confident enough to put it into theaters, but it did do amazingly well in all the film festivals. So, uh, so
mhm.
just off that, all the accolades and all
Wow.
the love and recognition, I get a call from Shankar Nag uncle saying he had a studio called Sanket, so he said, just come over quickly. There's something interesting for you. So I go over there, and he says, look, I got a call from Mukul Anand sir, and they want to cast you in an Amitabh Bachchan movie. I just scream. I'm like, I'm a crazy, crazy Amitabh Bachchan fan. Like, I must have watched like every other person in this earth, Sholay, some insane number of times, and I'm a crazy fan of Diwar also. So I was like, "You kidding me? Like, are you like? I hope you're not pulling my leg and all." He said, "No, no, no, genuinely."
mhm,
I said, "Done." I said, "Don't you want to know what the role is?" I said, "Boss, I must be the most stupidest fellow who's already done fair bit of movies, so I'm fairly older in maturity when it comes to movies, the quality, who's what, because I had already a fairly seasoned actor by then." I said, I'll be the most idiotic person in this world to ask what role in an Amitabh Bachchan movie, that too directed by Mughal Anand. And I had no idea who the rest of the cast and crew
mhm.
were, right? And this is Amitabh Bachchan sir at his peak.
Correct.
So I like, done. He's like, no, no, no. At least listen. He said, okay, okay, what? He said, you're playing younger Amitabh.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed. I was actually very upset. And like, what? Like, why? I mean, like, like, is there any other role that I can be around him, next to him, in the same frame? He's like, no, like, now what's wrong with you? He's like, you get to play him. I'm like very, very disappointed. I'm like half happy, half not very happy. I don't know what to do. I felt like, okay. I mean, like, okay, I've got something there, where I can at least be in his in his scheme of things. So I go to Bombay, meet Mr. Mukulanand sir, who was very kind enough to himself come and meet me and explain the role. And like I like a classic Amitabh Bachchan fan and an idiot. I ask him, sir, I'm like very worried. I have a round face, curly hair. You're expecting me to play Amitabh Bachchan? I am a fan. I don't want to mess up. Like, I don't want thousands of people angry at me saying, my God, such a iconic role, such an important thing. What have you done? Kisko laga diya aapne? He's like, boss, I'm not asking you to act as Amitabh Bachchan. I'm asking you to act as Vijay Dinanacha. So it was like a whack on my face. I was like, oh, like I get it, I get it. Like he said, like, I want you to own that role. I want, I after this, I don't want anybody to remember Swami. They want, I want people to see the actor in you, not just the Swami. And this is what Mrs. Shankar Nag told me. He said, if you don't do other major roles or characters which breaking the mold of Swami, your career is finished over here, because nobody can ever see you beyond Swami, right? You'll always get other roles which are very similar to that, or some spin-off of that and all that. So sorry. So if you really think there is a career for you beyond this, and if you want to act, you have to break the mold. And what better way to, and what a role to break that mold at that level. So we were shooting in, to answer your question, Rahul. We were shooting in
Correct.
Goa. That is
Correct.
the Mandwa, whatever that set was put. So the first
Right, right.
how do I say, the first shift as such, what do you want to call, the morning shift was younger Amitabh, and the evening second half was older Amitabh. So all that common this one we were shooting like that. So for me, the moment I got to know, I was like super happy, because
Okay.
the transition is quite a long, unlike today's day and age, it's a quite long process over there. So when I wound up, I'm having lunch and all, he would be there, and I'm like literally I'm like drooling. I'm like looking. I'm like, oh my God, this is Amitabh Bachchan. And just to make things very interesting, as I told or was about to tell that time, there is Tino Anand, there is Danny Dengzongpa, there is Rohini Attangati, there is the who's who of the Hindi film industry over there. And
Correct.
Yash Johar is the thing. You have Mukul Anand, you have Praveen Bhatt, who later went on to direct a lot of movies. He was the first associate in that. So this is like insane, like where I'm sitting and talking, the kind of talks I'm listening to, or I'm privileged to listen to, is something beyond my, what I would say, my world. I come from Karnataka film industry, and there I have my own, space, a makeup room. I have my own things. I'm like half the time I'm in a dream world, and the other half I'm like, God, I better bring my A game, because the rest of them will gobble me up. Actors, ultimately we also have like insane egos, right? We in a frame, you need to shine, you need to kind of make your mark, and these are like veterans. So I had to, like, literally, like, every single second I needed to be at my best, because otherwise I think I would have got lost in that. And the biggest icing of cake for my life is, in a mainstream Amitabh Bachchan movie, I'm there in the first 22 minutes or 20 odd minutes. I'm like, boss, like, are you sure you want? I thought, younger role, two
Correct.
scenes, three scenes maximum, and out, and Amitabh Bachchan is there. Here, I'm there, I come to Bombay, I'm doing this. I'm like, and like I was very, very worried about hardcore Amitabh Bachchan's fans coming and telling me, what have you done? Like, why are we seeing your face for such a long time before our boss comes, And I would have been one of them. So it was like, so truly blessed to have such large-hearted heroes and directors who gave me that space to even shine that much. I met him first when I went to Bombay. I
So
think
when did you
initially
meet
the
him?
police station scene. Funnily enough, we shot that first. One of the first scenes that we shot was the police station scene. So I met
Okay.
him, and we were like working on. So initially, my voice was something else, and then we worked
Okay.
on it to have that gruff voice. For me, in regular Hindi itself is difficult. Now I'm doing that. Malgudi Hindi is different than the Bombay Hindi there. So it was. I'm like, what? I thought I knew Hindi. What language is
Bambaiya
this?
Hindi.
Right. So
Bambaiya
that
Hindi,
was there.
correct.
Very professional, very nice, so humble, so down to earth, and but on a fair disclosure, I had met him a couple of times before that in Bangalore in other functions and all. But pure fanboy moment in those days. I'm sure he wouldn't have recognized who I was or what. But Swami, I'm sure,
Mm.
kind of gave that thing that okay, and I think full credit to Mukul Anand sir to have given me that kind of role. Absolutely, absolutely.
Swami opened the doors for you to that cinema. Yeah. So
No.
interesting. So do you
If you're
remember
trying
any
to
of your
get me to
dialogues
say
from
few
Ananta?
dialogues, absolutely no. So I'll tell you what. I have done 68 movies, right? And this is in those days. The only way for me to
Right.
keep my sanity is to do approach each day in a compartment. Learn the dialogue, finish the dialogue, close the dabba, bhul jao. Otherwise,
Mm-hmm.
you will go mad. You can't remember. I could hardly remember my
Boldev.
what I read in my school. And so recently, when the COVID happened and my son was uh, uh, doing
Uh,
online classes, yeah, and he was in sixth or fifth or whatever. Half the time I'm wondering,
homeschooling.
did I ever
Correct.
learn this? What is this? Like, what have
Mm-hmm.
I learned? I mean, like, I have zero
Sound.
remembrance of learning all those things. So I told him, I said, boss, I'm done. Like, there's no further me teaching you anything. Either you Google it or I'll give you a tuition master. Mere to I have no memory of learning what you're learning, right? And yeah, and
Uh,
sixth, I think I first time I learned
no
few of
clue.
those things because I had
Exactly.
nothing else to do. I was doing working online and I could hear some LCM, something, maths, something. I said, oh, that is what that was for. I had no clue. I just mugged it up and just finished my
Mm.
exams, and I don't know how I passed. I have
Uh,
no memory at all of those things. So dialogues zero.
I can relate. I can relate with that story because I go through the same thing. If my daughter comes up and asks me questions, what is this, and I'm like, right? I'm the most uneducated in this household, right? So you have to go to your mom because even though if I may have studied this, but I don't remember anything of this, right? So now they'll play games with me. They'll come to me and ask me questions purposely because I say I don't know what this is. But it's fun. I mean, and see, this is the human side of us, right? So it's great. So speaking about human side, when uh, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan watched you act, and as Vijay Dinanath Chauhan, did he react to it? What was
No,
his
absolutely
reaction?
not. I'm
Did he
not,
give
first
you
of all,
any
sure
tips
whether he
on
was
aise karne ka,
watching me
and
or not
those kind
because
of
it was,
things?
as I said, we would just be finishing and he would come and switch over. Second thing, in those days, to the best of my knowledge, heroes didn't do those things. At least the professional
Mm-hmm.
heroes that I have worked with, they would never interfere with the direction or aisa karo, vaisa karo. No. Script was the
Mm-hmm.
boss, director was the boss, producer was also there to kind of make sure everything runs
Mm.
smoothly. As far as creativity is concerned, as far as visualization is concerned, director is the ultimate. There is
Mm-hmm.
no, maybe some personal discussion could happen in behind closed doors, never on the set, never saying, oh, ye acha nahi lagta hai, oh, acha nahi lagta hai, never. It is, he's the boss, the director was the boss, and he already would have visualized it. So we could improve it. We could always
Mm.
say, go to him and say, you know what, can I do this? I think this kind of
Correct.
looks better, but can I do it? It is never, I am who I am, so I will just
Mm.
do it. No, never like that. So it was a
Mm.
lot of scope for improvisation, but never changes. It would never be a change. So, for example, the petrol bunk, the one that I blast. So it was like, okay, we'll have 2 3 cut shots. I said, no, I think I should be able to pull it off
Mm.
with me standing there. Let it get blown up, and I'll just turn around and walk back and all that. But that was, on hindsight, a stupid idea because the heat was so bad.
Mm.
Though I did it,
Right.
rest of the time I was like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why did you even volunteer for this, right? But then there are these kind of things. There are a few shots in that where, like, I take a knife and I Bob Christo's face. I cut it off. Yeah. So I do that. So there again, it was like I was
Christo,
finding it
Bob
odd
Christo.
that I,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
obviously on a shorter side, and
Correct.
and I guess there's no way I'm gonna do that and make it look believable, right? So I said, let it be a free flow. So I jump on him, hang on to him, and then do that. That's when
Mm.
I'm thinking I'm getting the correct hit, right? So these are few of the things where you work with them. It is never like I'm not like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
do this. No, nothing like that. It's a lot of it's brilliant. I mean, these are the few of the
Mm.
things I miss from those days. Is it was truly a kind of a team effort. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of thoughts, a lot of monitors, a lot of rehearsals, and then you get that. Then you are like your lot of clarity is there. Where's the camera? What is happening? Where's the rain? And when I'm especially again young Amitabh is pulling his dad's dead body, on the mud, and then the Danny Dang song was car goes, and then that hits. Now, originally, again, we could have just
Mm.
cheated
Cart
by
on the cart.
doing
Yeah.
the cart, and it was
Mm-hmm.
absolutely messy there. It was impossible to pull in. So we said, no, no, no. Let's do it real. So
Mm-hmm.
the strain, that phase, that everything will look real. That actually I'm pulling. So it was actually Aloknath
Mm.
on that thing. I'm actually pulling, and so
Mm.
you will get that.
You're pulling
So these were the
on
good
and
days.
pulling.
Sorry, I got a call.
Correct.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. So Swami, what was Swami at school? So you're somebody who is doing so many movies with all these big actors. You're doing Bollywood.
So
You know
luckily
everybody.
or
So what
unluckily,
was the
luckily for
reaction of
me,
your
these were
friends
pre-social
inside the
media days,
classroom?
pre all these hype days. So maximum anybody who went to the cinema would see me and maybe react to
Mm-hmm.
me. And I had,
Correct.
by God's grace, I had amazing friends, in the sense, especially one particular friend,
Right.
Ravindra, who was my LKG friend, who still today is my closest friend. He was my, I think 70% I've learned from him, and 30% from the teachers. He was my
Mm-hmm.
go-to person. He was a brilliant student. I hung on to him dearly because he's the only one who could,
Mm-hmm.
get me up to date on the chapters that I've missed while going shooting. Unfortunately, because the teachers were extra strict with me, because they didn't want to give this impression that because I'm a cinema actor or I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting all this flexibility to go on leave, that they will give me some leeway. So I felt, it's like the
Mm.
teacher's son gets more hits, right? So I was like that. I was like, no, no,
Mm-hmm.
just because you're acting, you think you'll get away with it. I was like, I have no clue what you're asking me. Like,
More
I
whack.
don't, I wasn't
Yeah.
even there when the chapter was taught. So like I have no idea, right? So I had, but one major advantage I had was, thanks to my cinema shooting, I had amazing short-term memory because of I had to mug up all these lines. So my short-term memory was very good. So I wouldn't really bother much on the previous days.
Yeah.
Right.
A week before the exam or 10 days before the exam, I would go sit with my best friend and just
Mm-hmm.
read it all up, right? Just mug it all up substantially, understand the concept, write all the
Mm-hmm.
exams, finished. And I've forgotten like how I forget my exams, right? But and I would always get around, like I would definitely pass. And there are times when I've crossed even the 50 mark. Now, whenever first time I came second class, there's a huge celebration at my house because my mom was happy. Is like, oh, you not only passed, you got second class. So there's a big party at my house saying, look, he's got 51%. So unlike other families where you would have seen somebody got 99, they would, what reaction you would get? My family, my mom and dad would react for the same for 51%. And not only you passed, you got second class. So he's got brains apart from acting skills, you know. So,
That's
so my short-term memory was good, and that came in handy a lot during my pre-university, my
yeah.
degree, and post-graduation. So I would meticulously approach the exam. I would see which are the chapters. The 10 years exam papers, question papers would be there. So I would see a pattern. I would understand, analyze everything, and learn only those chapters which I could remember. And
Mm-hmm.
I would get 50%. वो तो पक्का था.
Uh, One question actually I wanted to ask you was that apart from Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, you had also worked with Southern stars a lot. So, what was your experience of working with Mammootty sir?
Oh, that is a wonderful experience. So again, a super small backstory is that, see, my primary field or my primary industry is the Kannada film industry. So here,
Right.
pretty much acted with all the top actors over here, and of course, like every other person in South India, anybody who wants, who gets an opportunity to work with K. Vishwanath sir. Now, K. Vishwanath sir is the famous director who's done Shankar Abharanam, Sagar, and few
Right.
others. Yeah, so like a legendary director, all classical movies, and every single hero actor would give a right arm and a leg to work with him or in his movie, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I uh, I had already finished a long career of almost touching 15 years or 14 15 years, whole lot of movies, and I had decided that I should stop acting so that I can complete my education. And I was going through the teenage years. My body was changing, big nose, shapeless face and stuff like that. So I said, before it becomes really weird. And in those days we didn't have this kind of today's opportunity for teenager roles or other different stories. These weren't usually available for actors, at least in my time. So the typical approach was you give a break, finish your stuff, and come back with either hero roles or main lead roles or character roles or whatever it is. So the break was almost guaranteed, and I wanted to make sure, I wanted to time it with my education. So I wanted to finish my matriculation, 12th, and graduation. I was very clear and keen on doing that without any break, messing that up. So I
Mhm.
was, but I
Right.
was also very keen on doing something really nice and taking that break. So in Kannada, there was a movie called Ramachari that was a super duper hit. 25 weeks it ran and all that. So it was like done, and I said done. I'm taking a break. I'm stopping acting now. And then comes this offer of K. Vishwanath sir, Mammootty, Radhika, and this one. I'm like, oh God, please, like again, for an actor, there are very few actors in their lives, they get nice graph, in the sense that their career graphs are like a series of waves and then one big high mountain, and then it kind of settles, either comes back fully down and settles or whatever, it stops there. For me, I was really blessed again to have these multiple high graphs with Swami and Kannada movies, a couple of super duper hit movies here. Stone Boy, you have Agnipath, Benam Badsha, Vishwatma, whole lot of other Hindi movies and all that, right? And I was done with it. And, but this role, this particular director, like I would have been certified insane if at all if I had rejected this. So I have to do this. So I took this up. Luckily for me, it they wanted to do it in one like major scheduled shoot, so that I it wouldn't have affected my matriculation. But my God, one of the toughest assignments that I've ever done in my life, because again I don't know a word of Telugu, neither does Mammootty. That was a big advantage for me. And Radhika is like an expert at both. And we both know Tamil and English, but we don't know Telugu. And we are doing this classic, and both of us can't sing to save our lives. And he's playing like a Vidwan, and I'm playing a genius singer. And under a director who's known to be extremely strict when it comes to portraying and
Yes.
the culture and the classic and all that. And he's chosen us to portray that. So this was again one of those things. Like, are you sure you want me? Are you for real? Like, have you seen me? Like, I can't sing. Like, I don't know anything about singing and all that. And like, no. I've seen you in Swami. I've seen you in Agnipath. And of all the things, he was. Kevishnath sir later told me that he was Agnipath made him decide to take me. I'm like, what? Like, it's like but he identified. He said like somebody like you could pull that off. Definitely, you can pull this off. I'm like, but boss, that's a once in a lifetime thing. This is not to be done now and then. But yeah, so to cut a long story short, did a lot of homework, lot of effort, and full credit to K. Vishnath sir and the team, because they made us look how we ultimately ended up looking in the movie, and it was a critical acclaim, lot of awards. And even today, when I go to Andhra or Telangana, just one movie that I have done, my God, the amount of love and adulation I get is it's like it's impossible for me to even explain. It's like it's absolutely crazy. They just love that character, and they're sad that my character dies in the end. So they're like, they start off with like, why did you have to die? I'm like, no, dude, I haven't died. I'm not like nothing's happened to me. Like, no, but you shouldn't have. You should have somehow done this. I said again, you're talking to the wrong person. You should. It's a director you have to convince, not me. I just do what they say. I'm like I just follow the director. So that role was extremely challenging. And Mammootty, sir, absolute professional, brilliant actor. I mean, like, again, his role is contra in his real life, macho action. This is all subdued, very soft, and all that. And me also, I'm not as I said, culture and me a little bit far away, and I'm playing all these like singer, and I have to mention the poor audience in those auditoriums who sat through me pretending to sing, because pretty quickly I realized that if I pretend, sorry, if I pretend that that feeling was not coming, that emotions were not coming across, and I'm seeing
Mhm,
myself. There's no monitor in those days, okay? Unlike today, you can go quickly check it.
mhm.
Nothing. So you had a mirror, and you had to figure out like, am I looking correct or not? And I was not getting it. And he was also saying, no, there's something missing here. Then I said, look, I need to believe that I'm singing, right? So I had the mic on, I had the sound on, I had all the real Natavangams, all the people around me, and I was singing flat out as if I am singing that pitch and everything. So imagine the
Mhm.
torture these audience went through with my horrible voice, going full speaker, and in my brain I have edited my voice for SP Janaki's voice. Okay, I'm thinking I'm sounding amazingly well. And this was on
Yeah.
a funnier note. This was one of the toughest characters for me to get out, in the sense that I at the end
Mhm.
of like a 5 month schedule, I had convinced myself that I'm one of the best singers in this world. So I come back to Bangalore. I come back to Bangalore and I'm singing with my friends and all. They're like, "What's wrong with you? Like, shut up! You can't. There's like you have no shruti. There's no tala. There's nothing." you're singing. You're like, what are you guys talking? Like, you don't know how well am I sounding, because in my brain I'm still editing my voice for SP Vanijaram ma'am's voice, and that won her the national award, that won the movie the national award. So it was like an
Right.
amazing ride, and I don't think I'll be able to ever recreate that ever again, because this is again the once in lifetime opportunity you get to work with some of the most brilliant technicians and artists, because there were real live singers and the mridangam players who are helping me. So if you see a close up of me singing well with the tala in my hand and all, I'm just looking at somebody else and sitting in front of me doing this, and I'm matching that over there. I have absolutely no
Right.
clue on what to do of any of those things. Pursuant to that, that inspired me to go learn Bharatanatyam. Because of that, I said, look,
Mm.
I can't be this handicapped when it comes to these kind of creative stuff. So I went and learned Bharatanatyam, and that's where I met my wife. So some positive, a huge positive out of this entire Swati Kiranam story.
And did you learn Bharatanatyam to a certain degree, or was that, you know,
Sorry, I missed one. I
like
missed a part of your question.
did you learn Bharatanatyam up to a certain
Yes, yes.
degree, or were you,
Yes, yes. No,
yeah?
no. So I have this again, that OCD. I can't do half-baked things. When I do something, I do it properly. So I
Mhm.
did my junior exam. I finished. I got a certificate. Then I went to Chidambaram, the where Nataraja Lord Nataraja's temple is there. So I danced there at the Tillai.
Mhm.
I didn't do any arangetram or anything like that. I had this thing that I have to learn properly. I have to dance in front of the Lord Shiva, and there ends my acting dancing career, and that's where it ended. So it is something like I want to learn, I want to do this. So in the movie I'm supposed to dance
Mhm.
and all that, and I can't do anything. So I had to get it out of my system, saying I have to do. But again, through your podcast to your listeners, trust me, it helped me so much. If at all, if I was able to focus in my education, do a lot of things, Bharatanatyam helped me substantially to focus my thought processes, get some discipline in my life. So that
Mhm.
really made a big difference in my life.
That's excellent. So, Swami, where did this pause? We were seeing you so often. I think growing up, we used to see you every now and then on TV, on the cinema, and then suddenly, you took a break. So, can you tell us why, and what did you do after that?
So as I told you, it was this teenage years. I was 16, 17. I couldn't
Hmm.
neither play somebody's younger version or a brother role or whatever. And even if I played somebody's brother role,
Hmm.
I had to get killed very soon in the this one for him to take revenge. And I didn't want to do. I mean, like I had all the like after doing these kind of roles, it becomes very difficult for you to just. I'm not saying I was like big shot or whatever, but I just didn't want to do roles for the sake of doing it, right? So I wanted to give a break and come back with some proper plan of action. Unfortunately for me, when I finished my education, the film industry, Kannada film industry, at least was going through a bad phase. Like there was not much of successes, there was not much of opportunities. The movies were not running well, and I really didn't want to
Hmm.
go become another failed child actor who tries to come back as a hero, doesn't work or does something. I really didn't want to do that. I thought, okay, let me see now if the industry is in this kind of phase, is it like it's sensible for me to go back there? And I had lost my mentor Shankar Nag sir by then. There are a lot of changes in this one. So luckily for me, the IT boom had just kicked in at around that time, and every single friend of mine,
Hmm.
including my childhood friend, they were all getting jobs into IT. And I was desperate. Like
Hmm.
I'm an art student. I've done my literature, economics, and sociology, and masters in sociology much later. So I said, okay, literature, economics, what am I going to do? Then somehow I have to get into IT because the rest of it is all doesn't look good. Everybody is getting into that. So there is this website called onlinebangalore.com. It had just opened up, and I went into
Hmm.
content writing thanks to my literature background. So I joined as a content writer. I proudly put on the tag and everything. I was very happy, told everybody, look, I've got a job there. I thought, let me just test this out. Just before that, I had done a little bit of work in, some Reuters coding, something very, nothing serious. But I was very, very keen on getting into this line. As fate would have it, there's this .com bust in '99, right? And 99 2000, there's a huge layoffs. Everybody's getting pink slips. And luckily for me, because I was Master Manjunath and Swami, my boss and the main owner, they were kind enough to say, look, we have to shut this down, but we don't want to just throw you out next day. We will give you a couple of months, find another job somewhere else. I said, boss, like with great difficulty, I've bullshitted my way all the way over here. You've somehow given me a job. Please don't, throw me out. Like, tell me how can I make this work? Like, suddenly I was, instead of a content writer, I'm suddenly heading the website itself. They said nothing. Like, we need more hits. We need more people to visit the website. We need ad revenue. I'm like, okay, what do you do? Like, do you have a budget for advertisement? I'm like, nothing. Your salary is your budget. I'm like, okay, what do I do? Then, as you say, necessity is the mother of all inventions.
Inventions.
So, typical Indian jugaad, I was thinking, okay, what do I do to get people on my website? Suddenly, one bulb came up. I said, okay. So, what I did, I just copied the entire phone book onto my website and said, okay, basic information, anybody wants to Google has to come here. Then I went and tied up with all the newspaper agency who were just coming out with their websites, saying, I'll give you the headlines only and I'll lead them up to you. But you have to allow me to put your headlines at least on my website. Is it only Bangalore centric? Oh, yeah. But this is not enough. It's still not enough. Then I said, okay, one of the things I struggled when I did my matriculation and 12th was getting the results. So you had to go into the big board. There was 1,000 numbers there. You had to search your number, and somebody's failed. He'll just tear away the sheet or scratch out the sheet and go away. I said, why don't we put this results on the internet? It's never been done before. So it took me about another 2.5 months to convince the officers in those times. We spoke to the minister, extensively interacted with them, convinced them, and we were the first ones to put up matriculation and second PUC, which is your 12th results in '99, first time in India. And of course, I got sponsorship, pulled the website out of its this one, made money. That opened the door so the government suddenly realized, hey, there's a lot more digitization that can be done. So we, as logical extension, we hosted all the degree results, CET results, your technical diploma results. This opened a few more doors. I said, then the Mahanagara Palke, the BBMP guys said, no, we need a website. We need better ways of collecting taxes. So I was part of the team that created the self-assessment scheme. So you could start paying online taxes, this one. Now that opened the door for other digitization in government, which is the Booby project, which is one of the most prestigious, amazing land records digitization in India. So I'm proud to say that I'm part of the original team which did this. So this opened up an amazing door of government, bureaucracy, digitization. This changes that I was part of, which made difference in real life, to real people, where I could do things which made a difference in somebody's life, right? And that was a whole new high altogether. So then came another opportunity for a project, which is Bangalore-Mysore Expressway project. So this is the first private expressway being done in Bangalore, between Bangalore and Mysore, and it involved like a ring road, and the scale and specs of it was never heard of in those days, right? And that involved interaction with 14 departments, getting acts amended. So these were all like for normal people, it's all alien. For me, because I had done this 4 or 5 years of working with the government, like Keanu Reeves sees those codes in Matrix. So I could figure out those processes much better than the regular set of people, right? I understood, okay, this is how they want it, but this is what the private people are not able to communicate, or they are not able to understand this. So I wanted to take up this project. And 18 years later, I'm proud to say, worked my way up, all the way up to being the vice president of the company, and we finished the project. So I just got fully involved in doing real life stuff, things again that is touch and feel, building bridges, building roads, digitizing government departments, working with government departments to make a difference. That I really, how do I put it? I, I enjoyed it way too much for me to even think of doing anything else back into the cinema. The cinema was already done. Like I have had my fill of things,
Hmm.
like the highs, the awards, the accolades, everything is there. This is where things were like in a different world where it's purely my brain. Of course, my face opened the doors, but definitely it was my brain that was making the difference. And funnily enough, people will be surprised. At least in my days, cinema didn't pay well. Here, I could at least come out of my lower middle class into a much better financial position where I could depend on
Mm-hmm.
my salary coming at the 30th, or have much more
Mm-hmm.
dependability on your economics. So that's where
Hmm.
the transition happened. And for the last 3-4 years after COVID, I have now switched over. I have my own consulting firm. I assist multinational companies like Amazon, Swiggy, Japanese companies, um,
Hmm.
German companies, British companies who want to set up or who are doing business in Karnataka, to
Hmm.
facilitate their interactions with the government. And because, as I said, um, I tell it funnily that I translate government English into private English. So, so, so I'm doing that. But I'm honestly taking it a little bit easy now because I want to focus more on my son, who's now is in his ninth grade. And one thing I realized when I was young, I hardly got to spend time with my family during my growing up time. I was always
Hmm.
out shooting and other stuff. So this, at least I shouldn't do the same stupid mistake of me trying to do all kinds of stuff and miss his youth or his younger days, his childhood days. So spending a lot more time with him.
That's a wonderful story, Manju. I think love to see that transition. Love to see how you pivoted, right, to a very different career. I think going back to your start, right? You were always like this. Okay. You were doing you he did Malgudi Days in Hindi and he doesn't know Hindi, right? So then you're doing a Telugu movie and you don't know Telugu. And then you went into a very new industry altogether, all the dot-com bubble, and uh, established a career here. And now I think you're simplifying things, helping private English people interact with government English. So which is great. I think this has always been that trait of doing the toughest of toughest problems, solving them. So I can see that trait in you.
Thank you so much.
So,
Um,
do people still recognize you as Swami?
Absolutely, absolutely. See,
Old people, new people also?
so the again, by God's grace, apart from the museums and the statues and the circles with statues and postage stamps and everything, I'm told
Yeah.
even in Maharashtra, in non-detail English book, there is a chapter on Swami and his friends, right?
Wow.
And
mhm.
Wow.
for my luck, instead of using the cartoon, they've used my photo with the thing onto the textbook itself. So there's another